Nob Hill is one of the most popular neighborhoods here in Albuquerque, but if you don't know anything about the vibe or what to expect in Nob Hill, you might be making the wrong decision. And that's why in today's video, I'm gonna be going through a whole map tour, letting you know what to expect. Now, by taking a look at the map here of Albuquerque, Albuquerque's built almost like a grid. When we do look at the center of Albuquerque, you're pretty much gonna be looking at where I-25 and I-40 meet. Now, when we are talking in relations to where Nob Hill is at, Nob Hill is just gonna be a short drive from both of those freeways. It's gonna be a couple minutes away from downtown and Old Town. And then of course, it's gonna be just a short drive up here to the Uptown Shopping Center where all the mall is at. You can go and shop for shoes. You got the Apple Store and all that stuff up here in this area. So it's a quick drive and you don't even have to hit the freeway just to get to these areas. You're also gonna be relatively pretty close to the university. You are gonna be also pretty close to Presbyterian Hospital, UNM Hospital, and the CNM and the airport areas here where a lot of people are doing a lot of in and out traveling. When you are living in Nob Hill and you are a big traveler, when it comes down to this area, what our clients tell us is that it is super easy to get to the airport from this neighborhood. It's pretty much just a straight shot. And also if you are working at the Kirkland Air Force Base and or working at the Sandia Labs, it is just gonna be a hop, skip, and a jump to get you to work. There's something that I gotta add to this because a lot of people gravitate towards this area because of Central, which if you know your history, you understand that Central is historic Route 66 and it cuts Albuquerque in half. Like literally this road can get you from east to west without any issues, and it's where our primary main public transportation runs through, which is the ART bus, and of course the ABQ ride buses that tag along on the side of those, which stop about every 45 minutes. The ART bus is one that is just every 15. So super quick, super easy. So that's one main reason why a lot of people tend to choose to live in Nob Hill, just because of that public transportation system. But then also to having all these different amenities like lined up against Central here, you are gonna see that you have like this Thai cuisine, Sidewinder's Bar, the Cold Stone, this Gather, which is kind of like a meetup ground for people to go and just have events, cocktail hours, and that kind of deal. They'll host events from time to time there. You also are gonna have everybody's local favorite, which is gonna be Flying Star and Twofolds Tavern, which attracts a ton of people every week to their fish and chips. And then the Flying Star Cafe is just an awesome spot to go and hang out. They got free Wi-Fi, good coffee, good pastries, and they even got good food there. To be honest with you, I like that grilled cheese and the mac and cheese and the grilled chicken that they have there. It's so good. Now, a couple other places that I really like that make this place awesome as far as like a neighborhood goes and the amenities around it and just living off of Central is gonna be that you're also super, super close to the UNM campus, which if you know anything about the UNM campus, they have their own golf course. And this golf course here, even though I'm not the greatest golfer, I suck, I'm terrible at it. If any of you ever wanna give me lessons or hook me up, I love to hang out with you guys. But UNM North is a highly sought after golf course here in town that is just an awesome course in the middle of the city. So if you're an avid golfer, you're gonna find that living in Nob Hill is super awesome. And if you're not an avid golfer, if you just wanna get to a quick park, Central is gonna allow you to get to the UNM Duck Pond, which is somewhere around here. Let's see, I see Pope Joy Hall, but yeah, there it is. UNM Duck Pond. Super easy to navigate. Central's an awesome, awesome way to get around town. It's the backbone, it's the spine of Nob Hill, downtown and Old Town, and even some areas that lead to like the biopark and the zoo. So awesome, awesome thing to have here. Okay, so the next thing that I just gotta be honest with you on this here. Talking about northern and southern Nob Hill, they feel like two different areas. And you'll see when we go through the Google Earth, I'm gonna show you the types of houses you can be looking at potentially, the types of commutes that you could be expecting, and just the overall feel and vibe from one neighborhood to the other when it comes down to Nob Hill. So just hopping over to Google Earth, we're gonna take off this little guide here because Nob Hill is just a great area. And let's just kind of pan around, just give you guys a whole idea of what we're looking at when it comes to Nob Hill. So Nob Hill doesn't feel super large, right? It's not that big when it comes down to the grand scheme of things. And as far as you can see, the layout here is pretty much like a suburban grid, right? You got these squared off neighborhoods, you got main roads that cut these neighborhoods, just making it super easy to travel in and out of this area. Now that we have that out of the way, let's take a look at, you know, what we're looking at here on the northern part of Central. Central is gonna be right here. You can see like you got this kind of cookie cutter vibe when it comes down to it. Now, some of the homes here on this side are gonna be a little bit bigger. They are gonna have some larger lots when it comes down to it, because obviously they had the intention that a lot of professors, people from Sandia laboratories were gonna be moving here in this area and just commuting back and forth from UNM or to the labs at the Air Force Base. Now, I just wanna show you a couple of houses here just to kind of give you an idea of what you'll be looking at here, right? You got these awesome larger lots when it comes down to it. Tons of trees. Yes, these little blocky things are trees. But even looking at, you know, the whole thing here, right? You get things like this. Now, this house here, it's gonna be a Southwestern style house, and more than likely this back here is an ADU, but here in Albuquerque, we call them casitas. Now, casitas are the same thing as an ADU. People are renting these things out and using them for extra income, or a mother-in-law or a father-in-law, or just a family member that is coming through town. I know a lot of people that are actually using these casitas to rent out to traveling nurses. So if you plan on investing your money here in Albuquerque and you wanna make the most of your property here in Nob Hill, look for these opportunities, and I can help you look for these opportunities. And we helped people create extra incomes through these different avenues that, you know, most people just tend to miss, especially here in Nob Hill, because they think it's just a super suburban area and there's not the allowance for mixed use, which there is. Zooming out and taking a look at the southern part of Nob Hill, we're just gonna make our way over Central here. You can start to see that it feels a little bit bougier, right? This was considered the more custom area of Nob Hill. You're gonna get these massive, expansive homes, right? You got pools, you got half moon driveways, you got all these things that just make this part of Nob Hill very, very sought out after. And a lot of people tend to move to this area more times than not, just because you are gonna get unique homes. You aren't gonna get that cookie cutter feel and vibe. The lots are gonna be a lot bigger than they are on the north side over here on the south side. And of course, you still have the opportunity to be able to get a casita here in this area. Now, whether you're into like that mid-century modern, multi-generational, the farm style, or the Southwestern style, you're gonna be able to find it here in this side of Nob Hill. You're gonna be able to find a little bits and pieces here on the north side, but the south side is really where it's at when it comes down to the whole vibe and feel of just this bougie Nob Hill living. The next thing that I wanna bring up is gonna be the schools in this area, because I get a ton of questions surrounding this and what Nob Hill has to offer. Now, Nob Hill is great because you're gonna have the opportunity to have charter schools, public schools, and private schools all up in this area. And we're gonna switch over to homes.com, which integrates well with niche.com when it comes down to searching for some of the better schools. Now, let me move my mug here out of the way just for a little bit, just to show you the different schools here. We're gonna show you some of the top ranked schools here in Nob Hill, which is gonna be this Axiom Christian Classical. Then you are gonna have Bandelier, which I know a ton of people that went to Bandelier. Coral Community Charter School, Monte Vista Elementary School, which this school here, if you watched our previous video, you are gonna see it in the background. This, I believe, used to be a church that was converted into a school. And then you are also gonna have Jefferson, Zia Elementary, then Albuquerque High up in this area. Now, where are all they at? Now, you are gonna have a few different ones here that are actually in the Nob Hill neighborhood, and then most of them are gonna be on the outside. So just all depending on where you're looking to live, on what side of Nob Hill, whether you want your kids to walk to school, whether you have one that's, you know, in elementary school or going to high school, that's all gonna make the world a difference. And if you use just these good resources that we find online, and I can send this to you if you do have any more questions, that number popping up on the screen is my direct line. Call or text me at any time. I love to help. But Great schools here. They're all top rated, right? You got all A's, A minuses, B plus, A minus, B plus. My wife actually went to Albuquerque High, and I got a ton of friends that actually graduated from that school and are doing great things within the community. I graduated from a Trisco, which is on the south side, which we'll talk about that later down the road when we do a map tour of the southwest side of Albuquerque. But I hope this helps kind of pinpoint and really get an idea for the different schools here that you are going to be looking at when it comes down to moving to Nob Hill. Schools are great. They're awesome. They have a ton to offer to the kiddos that are coming with you that you're planning on relocating and putting in the public school system here in Albuquerque. So when we are talking about who's this neighborhood great for, that's also something great that I like to bring up in this conversation, because Nob Hill is great for everyone. But at the same time, it's not great for everyone, because there is certain things that Nob Hill offers that you won't necessarily get in like a Laurelwood, a Southwest Heights, and over there in Taylor Ranch kind of living. Down here in Nob Hill, we're just gonna hop into their website and see exactly what they offer, right? We're looking at here with over 300 businesses in the historic district of Nob Hill, restaurants, cafes, coffee shops, breweries, wine bars, retail stores, art galleries, nightlife, entertainment, and more. Shop, eat, drink, and play. So that just kind of gives you the whole vibe, right? And it's super walkable. Most of these things and most of these amenities are going to be a short distance from your house, from your doorstep. You can walk, you can bike. One of my buddies that lives in the area that I used to work a lot with, and we would meet up here actually at Little Bear Coffee, he would ride his bike to the coffee shop most of the time because he did live in Nob Hill. And for him, it was awesome to live centrally located in the city because he can get to virtually anywhere that he needed to get to, especially being a veteran and getting to the Veterans Hospital on the east side. It was like a no-brainer for him to live there in Nob Hill. He also liked the neighborhood, the vibe, the community, like the people were awesome and chill. Everybody was a little artsy and artistic. Everybody enjoyed one another, and people were walking up and down the neighborhoods and just really chatting with one another. So the community and the vibe and the feel is awesome in Nob Hill. Just even from my own experiences, just hanging out in the area, I've had a ton of great conversations here at Little Bear Coffee. I've been to Tractor Brewery, Matucci's, which just recently got renovated. It used to be an old shop back in the day, and then it got renovated into Kelly's, and then Matucci's came and bought them out and made this place super bougie. They got fire pits outside, doors that open up and all this stuff, and just make it for an elevated dining experience overall. Now, you are also gonna have like retail therapy and stuff, which is connected to Little Bear. You are gonna have, let's see here, a couple funny things throughout there, right? Albuquerque is very, very eclectic in its culture and what it does. So you are gonna see just an array of different things here, right? Vintage Vault, which is awesome. You go there, they're gonna have a bunch of vintage goodies. Silver Greens, which is an awesome place if you are a plant person. Sticks and Stones, if you're into like the whole crystals and that whole thing there. If you wanted to get some New Mexico United gear, which a ton of people do, it is gonna be located here in Nob Hill. You are also gonna have the old Albuquerque Duke City, if you know anything about that. That's our old baseball team that we used to have here. That's also gonna be located here in this area. And then also, if you don't wanna go to like a big box retail store for grocery shopping, they are gonna have a co-op center here in the Nob Hill Shopping Center right next to the New Mexico United store. So awesome things to offer here in Nob Hill, especially for the families and the individuals who are worried about always having to use their vehicle and would just rather walk and just enjoy their neighborhood and really get to know everybody within the area and just have good conversations, get to, you know, the coffee shops with these and, you know, just have a good time. What else is there to it, right? Just good vibes. Now, with loads of fun and different things to do in a great community, you're probably considering actually making the move. And I gotta bring up some good points to you here because I know that numbers are super important to a lot of you that watch these videos. And I wanna pull up Realtor.com because Realtor.com is gonna give us just a brief overview of exactly what we're looking at when it comes to renting versus buying. Now, I'm gonna tell you this much. A lot of people tend to purchase homes in these areas when they can because number one, the opportunities are slim and it just makes a lot of sense. And you'll see that when I talk about the rents in comparison to mortgages. Looking at the median home price here, it's around the low 400,000s, and you are looking at an average of 52 days on the market when it comes to a house here. So homes don't last long. Like I just let you know, the opportunities come slim. 23 active listings. So I'm not just kind of like bluffing here. I'm telling you the truth that when homes come up on the market, if they are priced well and they look good, they are gonna sell pretty fast. This is the caveat to it all. $2,300 for the median rent in Nob Hill. It's a popular area. A lot of people tend to move here. You know, a lot of people that either work at the Air Force Base, work at the UNM hospital or at the campus or Presbyterian when you got traveling nurses. So a lot of people tend to stick to this area because it's super close to everything when it comes down to their, you know, work. So when we are looking at renting versus buying, you're gonna see that in most cases, it makes a lot more sense to purchase a house if your mortgage is gonna be about the same when it comes down to renting, right? Now, I got a house pulled up here in Nob Hill, and I just wanna show you this because this is gonna be the epitome of what Nob Hill living is, right? It's unique. The vibes are different from house to house. Not every house is gonna look the same. Now, with this house here, you can see that these big windows just give a whole different look and feel. You got this outdoor deck with this other one up here, just giving you some awesome views. When you do pull up to the house, of course you don't have a garage, and this is pretty common in Nob Hill. Not a lot of houses are gonna have garages. You can tell with the basketball court outside that the neighborhood kiddos would probably come over and just hoop it up, right? And when you do step inside, you get these awesome concrete finished floors with this fully steel renovated stair step and like this feng shui feel when it comes into the house. Super bright, tons of light when you're looking through, right? Man, I just love this here. And you're gonna get a lot of this when it comes down to Nob Hill because again, Nob Hill is a very artsy area. A lot of the residents that live in this neighborhood live here for a reason. Now, you got the updated bathrooms, slightly updated kitchen. Now, there is one thing that I got to tell you about relocating to Nob Hill is that not all the houses are going to look like this. Some houses may need a lot more work than others, and it's really hit or miss. We're really not saying that Nob Hill is going to have all these awesome renovated artsy homes, right? From time to time, you are going to get these houses that are just great opportunities for you to come in and put your own spin on it, renovate it, bring up the equity. That way, when it comes time for you to sell it or just move on to the next chapter, you make a lot more money in the long run, right? This isn't a short-term play moving to Nob Hill. You better plan on living in Nob Hill for at least 5 to 10 years when you are relocating down to Albuquerque. So awesome house here, tons of awesome features. Look, that wood paneling on that roof, it's nuts, that's crazy. And you really aren't gonna get that in, you know, some parts of the town. It's really just gonna be alive and well and, you know, very well taken care of here in Nob Hill. So does it make sense? If Nob Hill is gonna be one of those areas that you are planning on relocating to, I hope this really helps with that next decision, right? And if it's not, no harm, no foul. We have other neighborhoods that we can help you relocate to. And as much as I love doing these videos, you already know what's up. I love to help you out with your real estate needs. And that number popping up on the screen here is my direct line. Call or text me at any time. I am the one that answers all the calls, texts, and emails. And I'd love to chat with you with wherever you're at in this whole transition down to New Mexico. And if you are planning on relocating down here and you want some more info, maybe you're not ready to have that conversation with me, down in the description below is a free relocation guide. Download it, soak it up, go through the whole thing. You'll learn so much about all the top areas here in Albuquerque. And if you do have any more questions on that, just call or text, right? But I got a ton of things to do today. We just got back from Texas from a volleyball tournament. It was awesome. I'm not a big fan of Texas. People there are not as nice as they are here in New Mexico, but that's just my opinion. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one. See y'all later. Peace.